Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube page. My name is AP and I am the Simviator. Got a flight set up today from Miami Executive down to Key West International. So let's jump on into the cockpit right now and get this thing started. So we'll throw the battery on. This is my very first video, so I really want to welcome everybody aboard. I'm happy that you're here taking this video and giving it a view. Maybe it piqued your interest. Alright, we're going to set the avionics to dispatch mode. Go ahead and push the master caution. And we will get our clearance. Grab the ATIS real quick. It's generally what you do. We don't need it. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing. I'm just going to let it go through the screen right here. This way we can get our current altimeter, because they're not going to give us that in our clearance.
Clearance delivery Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo IFR to Key West, ready to copy. Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo is cleared to Key West Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 31 climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is 125.5 squawk 2232. Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo cleared to Key West Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 31 climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure on 125.5 squawk 2232. Cessna 01 Romeo read back correct. Contact ground on 121.7.
Alright, so we have our clearance. Altimeter is going to be 30.01, so standard's 2992. So we got that. We'll tune to ground here. And now we're going to go ahead and get our engines started. So we'll hit the right starter here. Open the button guard. We're going to monitor N2. Once it gets to 20%, then we'll go ahead and hit the engine run stop button, and we'll monitor N1 over here in the upper left hand corner of the screen. Alright, we're at 20%. Go ahead and hit that run button, and we'll watch the N1 come up. Get our beacon, nav, strobe, taxi and landing lights set. So while we're watching this, a little background on me. I'm an intermediate simmer, flight simmer. I haven't owned a flight sim since 2004. Played on mobile, which is a completely different experience. It's not even remotely the same. But I'm a big aviation enthusiast, so I'm very well versed in the lingo and everything that comes along with it. Alright, so we got a good engine start on 2. We're going to start engine 1 now, our left engine. Close this button guard here. I call it engine 1 because I'm very well versed in the 737s, which I'm looking very much forward to. Once that comes out, we're going to grab it and do a really in-depth review on it, because this being, alright, we're at 20, start it up. This being a freeware plane, it's very limited on what we can do in this plane. The 737 is going to be a study level plane, from my understanding. So, alright, set the altimeter. I believe it was 02. We're getting a good start here. Once that's rolling, we'll switch our avionics to the on position. Alright, we got a good start. Alright, so for some reason, I don't know why, when you put the avionics into dispatch mode and you get your clearance, down here by ATC1, you will get right down here. That's your squawk code. When you switch it to on, the squawk code goes back to 1200. And if you were doing VFR, that's generally what you would squawk. Lets ATC know that you're doing VFR. So that changed on us, and unless I stand corrected, if I do, go ahead and hit the comment section and let me know what to do. But I don't believe, this being a freeware plane, I could change that ATC squawk code. And so what's going to happen, because I already have experience with doing this in this jet, is it's going to, ATC is going to cancel the service. And once they cancel service, I'll have to retry the IFR plan. I'll re-get clearance while we're in the air, and they will give me a squawk code, and it'll switch over, and we'll be able to continue from there. But I'm going to have to ignore their calls to change my squawk code because it's wrong. Again, if you guys know where the squawk code is on this, please by all means hit the comment section, let me know. I'm here to learn. I'm always going to continue to learn. I'm really looking forward to playing the sim for many, many years. I'm going to be trying to put out multiple videos a week, different places, different planes. I'm really excited to get this venture underway. So that being said, let's go ahead. We got some good starts here. We'll go ahead and get our taxi instructions.
To Miami ground, Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo with Sierra ready to taxi IFR. Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo, taxi to and hold short of runway tree 1 using taxiway Golf Echo Delta Juliet. Contact tower on 118.9er when ready. Taxiing hold short runway tree 1 via taxiway Golf Echo Delta Juliet Cessna 01 Romeo.
Okay, so now we have our taxi instructions. I am not familiar with these airports. I want to eventually get a app that has some Jepson charts on them, charts that will let me know where to taxi, what ways to go. If you guys have any suggestions in those, again, drop them in the comments. I would love to have multiple options to pick from, anything that works for a phone. I don't have an iPad yet. I would love to get FORFlight. I know about FORFlight, so when I get an iPad for this, I will get FORFlight. But until then, if there's something on a Galaxy Android store, let me know. I'll check it out. This way I can get rid of the help assist arrows that are on here to help me taxi to the runways, because I would love to be able to do away with that and traverse the airports just by the taxiways. So we're going to do pushback here, release the park and brake, and then we will taxi to our runway. And while we do this, I'm going to go ahead and set the autopilot functions here. We'll go ahead and switch flight director on. Altitude's going to be 8,000. So we'll get that set. And here's one of those glitches that the game has right now. This gentleman here is about to pass with the tow cart. And then he'll reappear magically, hooked up to our front gear. There you go. So we'll get the pushback. One more. Alright, so we're at 8,000. Nav mode will go on immediately. Everything's looking good there. So we're going to taxi to the runway here. For anybody wondering, I am using a SATEC ProFlight yoke system with the SATEC throttle quadrant. I know these things have been flying off the shelves. People have been out price gouging with them, but it is supply and demand. I was able to get mine off of Facebook Marketplace, actually. A really good deal. I actually got 2 of these throttle quadrants. So, had a little confusion there. Didn't need to record any of that. We are at the hold short line, so we're going to go ahead and contact the tower. We're holding short at runway 31. So it's a quick taxi there. Get our takeoff clearance.
To Miami Tower, Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo, ready for IFR departure, runway 31.
Alright, so V1 on this aircraft is going to be 120 knots. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and set 1-notch flaps. That'll make our takeoff a little easier. We'll trim up here a little bit too. Alright, we're good to go. 70% and 100. 80 knots. V1, rotate. Positive rate, you're up. Flaps up as well. And now that we're 200 knots, we'll back the engines down and begin our climb out as we take the handoff to Miami departure.
125.5 for Cessna 01 Romeo. Miami departure, Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo is at 2,200 feet, climbing 8,000 feet.
Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo, Miami departure, continue as planned. Altimeter 30.02. Cessna 01 Romeo, verify squawking 2232.
Okay, so again, we're going to lose our ATC clearance because when I turn the avionics from dispatched on, it resets your squawk for some reason. But we're going to go ahead and set our autopilot. All that's set to go, so we'll just turn that on, and then we'll turn the vertical speed up. We'll do 1,000 feet, because we're almost there anyway. And we'll back the throttles down a little bit too. To Miami Center here. Contact them. Again, they're going to terminate our clearance once they realize we're not squawking the code they gave us. So we'll work that out, and once they cancel services, we'll just request to follow the original plan, and they should give us clearance again, and it'll switch back over, and we'll be all set back on our way.
Cessna 01 Romeo, contact Miami departure on 125.5.
125.5 for Cessna 01 Romeo.
Turn those taxi and landing lights off.
Miami departure, Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo is at 7,700 feet, climbing 8,000 feet.
Cessna Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo Miami departure continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.02. Cessna 01 Romeo, your transponder appears inoperative or malfunctioning. Reset squawk 2232.
Okay, and there's the call out for our squawk code that we clearly don't have in there. We're squawking 1200. Again, if I'm wrong here, I'll gladly admit it. Please tell me in the comments. Is there a way to change the squawk code on the Cessna citation?
Romeo, your transponder appears inoperative or malfunctioning. Reset squawk 2232.
And if there is, then we could easily fix this, but for now I'm going to have to let them cancel.
Cessna 01 Romeo, your transponder appears inoperative or malfunctioning. Reset squawk 2232. Cessna 01 Romeo, IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 1200.
Alright,
Maintain VFR.
so to cancel our service, we'll go back in here, retry with the last IFR flight plan.
Homestead approach Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo 3 miles northeast of X-ray 51. Request IFR to Key West, ready to copy.
Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo is cleared to Key West Airport as filed. Squawk 2232.
And we'll read it back. Acknowledge. The plane will automatically switch to from 1200 to 2232. There we go. Alright, we got our squawk code.
Romeo, rate back correct.
Now we can do flight
Radar
following.
contact 8,000 feet. Altimeter tree 0.02, turn left heading 015, climb and maintain 8,000 feet.
So we're not going to follow the heading that they're giving us because we already have nav mode set.
Turn left heading 015, climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Cessna
And we're already at 8,000, as you can see on the PFD here. So
Cessna 01 Romeo, contact Miami departure.
Need to worry about that.
5.5.
125.5 for Cessna 01 Romeo. Miami departure Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo 8,000 feet.
Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo, Miami departure continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.02.
Alright, so at 8,000 feet, we're in Class Bravo airspace. We can't exceed 250 knots. I think where we're at right now is great. We're sitting at 238 knots. That'll be a good cruising speed for us. As far as ATC goes, I know that Microsoft said they have a partnership with VATSIM. I do have an account. I was going to be a controller, I believe, for the Jacksonville area.
Cessna 01 Romeo, contact Miami Center on 123.775.
Alright, so they're handing us off again.
Going to 123.775 Cessna 01 Romeo.
So let's make contact with them and I'll
Miami
continue talking.
Center Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo 8,000 feet.
Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo, Miami Center continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.02.
Okay. I know they had a partnership, I think they said they had with VATSIM. That's something I'm looking forward to, but I believe people are experiencing major problems with SimConnect. They're working on those issues. I know the SATEC gear, the panels, all that stuff. Other than the yokes and the throttles, I don't think people have complained about any frame rate drops. I'm not seeing any issues on my end. Everything handles pretty smoothly on high. I hope that's coming across to you guys just as well. So another thing I wanted to talk about, because this is my first flight using live weather and live time, live. I'm seeing that the altimeter is actually changing. When you play in the offline mode, it stays at standard no matter where you fly. You could fly from New York to LA, change hands between all the different ATC radars, and the altimeter will stay at standard 2992. So this is actually something I was going to touch point on, but I see I don't have to, because the altimeter has changed from standard, and I assume once we get down to Key West, it might change 0.01 or 2 and be completely different as well. So we got the Everglades off our right hand over there, or our right wing, I should say. So another thing I'm looking forward to are all the different planes and stuff that are coming out. I made mention earlier about the 737. 737 is a aircraft that I am well versed in. I've played it on a couple simulators here and there, and most recently I've been playing it a lot on X-Plane Mobile. So I know my way around that aircraft very well. My understanding is PMDG is going to be doing it, and it's going to be a study level aircraft, which means everything in it is going to be able to be pressed, tuned, changed. You can manipulate the aircraft any way that you want, is my understanding. The freeware play games, or not games, but the aircraft that we have for this is nice, but they're not very in-depth. And again, I'm touching on the fact that you can't change the comms, I don't believe, or the squat codes. A lot of these down here don't do anything. Hydraulic shutoffs don't work. Oxygen supplies, the climate control. All that stuff's not necessary to work the aircraft, but it's very not study level things here. I'm just looking at this stuff, and I'm not sure, you know, if any of this stuff gets me into changing the squawk code. We got systems, upper menus, engine information's going. Okay. I haven't really got a chance to get into this a whole lot, but again, I don't see anything here that's going to let me change the squawk code if I have to do that, because while it would be helpful, you're not going to be able to keep your IFR up. They're going to cancel your flight following, and you're going to have to reapply for it and retry it, and you know, that's a bit of a headache. It'd be a lot easier if we had something where we could just put in the squawk code similar to the 152. If you've played with the 152 in this, then you know that you can change the squawk in it manually. It still does it for you, but you can do it manually.
Cessna 01 Romeo, contact Miami Center on 124.7.
Alright, so we're getting handed off again.
Going to 124.7.
Starting our right-hand turn.
Romeo.
Here as we head toward the Keys. Boy, look at the sun on that water. That is something. And another thing too. Oh, let's do this transmission first.
Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo, Miami Center, continue to drown as planned. Altimeter tree 0.01.
Alright, so the altimeter changed. Like I said, it probably would. So we'll go ahead and change it down here. Only by 0.001. And then we'll change it on ours as well. So one thing I'd like you guys to comment on is, how are you finding the autopilot? I haven't had an issue with it. I had one issue when I was in the TBM. I took off out of Telluride and set the autopilot. It was functioning fine, and then it cut off on me out of nowhere, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I looked down at my PFD and saw my airspeed was at 0. I didn't turn the pitot heat on. So because I didn't do that, autopilot kicked off because it couldn't regulate speed. Once I got that back on,
Cessna 01 Romeo, you are 61 miles east. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 27 approach via Gusile transition. Cleared to Gusile.
alright, going to Gusile, we're cleared.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 27 approach via Gusile transition. Cleared to Gusile Cessna 01 Romeo.
Alright, so once I turned the pitot heat on, I was able to turn the autopilot back on, and I continued my flight from Telluride to Denver International with no problem. I've flown the Dreamliner and the Airbus with no issues on the autopilot, but I'm seeing a lot of comments on the Facebook groups that I follow where people are having major issues with the autopilot. I've tried to help some people out by, maybe there's people who don't have as much experience with flight sims. I was trying to tell people, you know, turn your flight director on when you're at the hold short line, get your altitude set, get it on nav. Again, with the CDU, because I know a little bit about it, I can't really set a flight from beginning to end with the CDU. Again, that's something I would like to change. I'd like to become very proficient when it comes to it. But, you know, people set their top of descent and all their altitudes and that, and they'll hit LNAV and VNAV and let that thing take it the entire flight, and then even let it land itself. Some people are that good. So again, hit the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this game in general, autopilot, the physics. I don't think I've seen anybody say that it's not visually stunning, but I'd love to hear, what you guys think about this game, because this is going to be the primary game that I'm using. I'll probably jump into some other flight simulators a little down the road, but this is the one that I have right now, and this is the one I'm going to be doing a lot of my primary flights out of. So again, let me know what you think. So we're officially 20 nautical miles out from Goosell. And then once we start closing in Key West International, I'll set us up for the final approach. I'll get the speed slowed down here, and we'll get our landing clearance and put it down on the runway. And one thing I'm going to do with my channel is, no matter how the landings go, they're going to be posted here. So if I crash, you're going to see me crash. I also don't know if you guys noticed or not, but I did not put any heats on. Clearly it's August in Florida. We're using live weather. I live here. We got plenty of heat right now. We don't need that. So I didn't bother putting any of the heat, ice protection on, any of that stuff, which is very okay, especially here in Florida.
Cessna 01 Romeo, descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
Okay, so we're going to begin our descent. We got the call for 3,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Cessna
We'll click that in and VS it down. Again, people who are well versed in the CDU, they have this stuff set. We'll do 2,000 feet per minute should be good. We'll go ahead and throttle back to idle, because we're going to get plenty of we'll hold plenty of speed on this descent here. And the next call out should probably be 1,500 feet, and from there we'll take it right into the runway.
Cessna 01 Romeo, contact Navy Key approach on 126.575.
126.575 for Cessna 01 Romeo. Navy Key approach Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo is at 5,100 feet, descending 3,000 feet.
Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo, Navy Key approach. Continue to Gusile as planned. Altimeter 30.01.
Alright, so the altimeter is the same. That's not changing. We're sending down to 3,000.
Cessna 01 Romeo, descend and maintain 1,500 feet.
There it is. Let's call for 1,500.
Descend and maintain 1,500 feet, Cessna 01 Romeo.
I got a little bit of turbulence there. Wind gusts picking up. Okay, so we got 17 knot winds. And as we level out to 1,500 here, I'm gonna pick the engines up a little bit, maintain a little bit of speed. Probably look to hang around 160 on approach, and we'll bleed that off as we roll in, try to hang on this glide slope. Alright, so I'm going to hang at about 170 knots as we cruise into Burpee here, 7 nautical miles away from it.
201 Romeo, you are 13 miles east of Key West. Contact Key West Tower on 118.2 when inbound on the approach.
Tower on 118.2 Cessna 01 Romeo. Key West Tower Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo 12 miles east inbound RNAV runway 27 approach.
Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo Key West Tower. Cleared RNAV runway 27 approach. Altimeter tree 0.01 wind 145 at 15.
Cleared RNAV runway 27 approach Cessna 01 Romeo.
Alright, so we got our landing clearance. We're clearly not going to enter the pattern. We're going to go and land straight into runway 27. I may have backed the power down a little bit early, but it's alright. We're here now. We're going to get ready for our final approach. Go from this view here. That should give us all our information we need. Right there is probably good. Okay, so we'll back the engines down again. We're going to turn autopilot off here in a second. I'll do that from my yoke. Let's get our trim set. Alright.
Cessna 01 Romeo cleared to land runway 27. Wind 145 at 15.
Alright, and we're cleared to land.
Cleared to land runway 27 Cessna 01 Romeo.
Disengaging autopilot. Try and keep it on the glide slope here.
Landing here. Landing here.
Gear coming down, setting one notch of flaps. On approach mode. Try and get this lined up. Trim down a little bit here. So I'm just going to use one notch flaps for landing. I generally don't go full laps. It's our 500 call out. Get it a little bit straighter than this. Just a little bit of rudder here. We are flight idle. There we go. Floated down the runway a little bit. We're chewing up so much runway here. That is a rough landing. Off center line. Speed brakes activated. Throw the brakes down here. But any landing you can walk away from. You know what the old saying is.
Cessna 01 Romeo exit runway when able.
Alright. Flaps up here. We are pulling off.
Cessna 01 Romeo contact ground on 121.9er.
Take out some taxi lights while we're at it. Alright, So we'll contact ground here, get our taxi instructions.
Going to 121.9er Cessna 01 Romeo.
Taxi to
Key
parking.
West ground, Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo taxi to parking.
Cessna Lima Sierra 201 Romeo taxi to general aviation parking.
All right.
Taxiing to general aviation parking, Cessna 01 Romeo.
Okay, so we're going parking. You wouldn't believe it by that landing I just put down, but I landed this thing at Philly International and just butter landed it. But I came in pretty hot, off center line. I had a lot going on that landing, but we are going to hopefully improve and do much better. All right, parking's break. I want to thank you guys for taking that flight with me. If you like what you saw, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of these. I'm going to be doing a few flights a week, actually. We're doing different aircraft, different scenery, different airports. If there's an airport that you guys want to see, go ahead and put it in the comments section. If it's something that you live nearby that doesn't get a lot of exposure on YouTube for these flight simmers, go ahead and put it in there. We'll check it out. Take whatever plane's going to be good for it, and we'll definitely give it a look, and I'll even give you a shout out if you're the one that suggested it. So